I'm going to do a really quick acting warm-up for theatre or screen. And the reason why I think it should be so quick, and it should just be like a 10 to 15 minute period where it's like a meditation. So if you're spending any more time than 10 to 15 minutes on a voice warm-up, in my opinion, I think that's a bit over the top. I know some actors like to spend an hour warming up, or some singers like to spend an hour warming up or whatever, but I think that 10 to 15 minutes is just about perfect. And especially if you've woken up in the morning and you've had a few conversations with people throughout the day, you don't really need to warm up your voice anymore. Okay, maybe you might want to warm up your voice a little bit more if you've just woken up, and maybe go for 20 minutes, but anything more than that I think is a waste of time. All you really want to do for a voice warm up is to get yourself inside your body, release the tension, and become aware of what's happening in your body and with your voice. And after that, I think it's just kind of unnecessary. So okay, I'll start this warm up anyways, and I'll guide you through what I do, and just to take in mind that every time you do a voice warm up, it's not just doing a warm up to get through it. I always find it's a good mentality to have, that it's an exploration of the various elements of using your voice and what that entails. But I'll bring you through that as we go. Okay, so the first exercise would be notice any tensions in your body. And I would take in anything using your eyes, your peripheral vision, and any tension. So there's a kind of a tension in my abdominal region there, and sort of let that go. And if your knees are locked, loosen your knees. If you're sitting on a chair while you're doing this warm up, just relax your shoulders, and then I get you to breathe through the out to the end of the breath and wait until that triggers. So it triggers your next breath. So don't consciously take in your next breath. Wait until the next breath comes by, triggered at the end of the breath. Okay, now after that, just notice what's in your body as you breathe out like that, and notice any sensations in your body, any emotions that are rising up, and don't judge them, especially in the upper chest, in the abdominal region, in the hips, in the lower back, in the neck, in the head, in the hands and the feet. And now I'll go through breathing on the out breath and whispered at the end, and building into a whisper, and noticing any tension that arrives up as you do that. Be careful that you don't over tense on the whisper, and that it's just a very light whisper. But what that does, makes you become more aware of the tension, that you require some tension to use your voice. So that just every time you do that warm up, it not only is it a warm up, but it's consciously bringing you through the steps of using your voice. So here's a bad example of doing a whispered ah and just getting through it and not being conscious of it, and it's going completely against the exercise. So it'll be like, we don't want to do that because that adds more tension. Okay, so in the next exercise, I'm going to breathe out, and I'm going to go into a whispered ah, and then I'm going to go slightly on voice. Now this is different for me every time because I'm experimenting myself every time that I do it, and this should be different for you as well. So I'm just going to take you through the exercise now. I'll wait till the end of the breath and wait for your breath to come in, not consciously. And try to keep your jaw relaxed as you do it, or any tensions, and notice what's going on in your body as you do it. Now, funnily enough, it would be my opinion that this is the most important part of the vocal warm-up, as it's about the awareness, and you're not pushing your voice through any of this part of the warm-up, and it's just getting you into your body and making you more conscious. And even as we've done it now, I've become more relaxed in myself and in my body and my voice. And I think this is the most important part of the warm-up, because it is getting the nuanced part of your voice, and it's checking in with tensions, and that's really important in speaking dialogue and using text, so that you're not pushing any bit. And it also has a carry through to your normal speaking and in conversation with people, and allows you to be more conscious of what you're doing. So I know it seems maybe like not getting straight to the point, but actually in the long term, warming up your voice like this is a faster method, because you'll learn more about how the actual voice apparatus works. Okay, and with this voice exercises, I'm trying to cut out all the bullshit, no nonsense. Okay, so the next exercise I like to do is a thing called sirens. So I like to go from my head voice to bottom bass voice in my hips. So one of the problems with this exercise, it was not a problem, but one of the things you should be training yourself and doing this exercise is that there's no jump between the head voice and the normal spoken voice. So it goes something like this, and even on the warm-up I still have a jump. You might hear it now when I do it. So I'll go through this exercise. So it goes, See, the great thing about this exercise is I'm going from potentially my highest note to down to my vocal fry. So, and then in between that, I'm experimenting in between that. How smooth can I go from the vocal fry to the head voice and back again? And what did I notice as I go, and where the tension's coming up? Because that's what's the most important to these exercises. So that's the siren. And the next exercise that I'm going to go into is just, well, I like to pick any scales exercises on YouTube, but you can do whatever you want. So I'm a bass, complete bass, a very deep voice. So I have to find a specific bass vocal scales warm up for myself. So I'll just go into YouTube and I get that ready. Okay, when that's done, that's a fairly simple exercise to do, and I think it just, I find that it's just good to just do one set of scales and then leave it at that, and then pick another set of scales the next day and experiment with that. Now that's particularly tough for me, that scales, because there's two things happening for me there. I have a very deep voice, so it's very hard for me to hit those higher notes, even though those are not that high notes. But so I'm also trying to relax my voice as I'm stretching at the top of those notes, and I notice some tension myself as I get to the top of those notes and try to reach them, which is not a good thing, but just showing you that that's the kind of, so every time I'm doing that, I'm trying to hit those notes and try to stay relaxed while hitting those notes and not stretching my voice too much. yeah, that specific one's difficult for me, but it's not too difficult for me in the sense I'm stretching myself, but not too far. So that's the kind of idea that you want to do when you're doing some scales. Okay, so just a couple of a few last exercises. I do a few lip trills and a few tongue thrills. They go like this. So that's pretty much that done, I think. And then just experiment with that every day. Different sounds, different speeds. Now I'm going to do the tongue. Once again, I'm experimenting from day to day, so different stuff with the tongue, different stuff with the lips. And then I'm gonna just stretch out the lips like this. I find that helps because when you're doing film acting, I notice a lot of people have tension in their lips when they're self-conscious on camera. So that's a key tip, just to stretch out the lips like that, and just to be conscious of the lips before you go and do your tape or when you're acting, because there's always a lot of tension in the mouth and the forehead, which I think for screen acting, which looks terrible on screen. So just notice yourself when you're doing a vocal warm-up. Are you tensing your forehead? Are you tensing your mouth? Are you tensing your nostrils? Anything like that, because actually that affects the voice. But most importantly for screen, you don't have any tension in that because it looks horrific. So okay, and then the final thing that I do for my vocal warm-up is I just do a few bits of diction exercise. Now you don't have to do much with diction, you know. Some people think with their voices like, oh, I have bad diction. That problem can be solved in like 2 weeks, and if you just follow this program, a lot of your vocal exercise problems will be solved. Of course, be conscious of your hips and your chest and your lower back and your neck and your body while you're doing your vocal warm-up. And as time goes on, you'll find more nuanced elements of warming up your body and your voice at the same time. So here is the final pieces of diction exercise that I do. It's very simple. I just go and I do different speeds, different varieties, and sometimes I add a melody just to combine everything in, because I want to cut that voice warm up down as quick as I can and as short a voice warm up as possible. So and then now I've practiced at this, so I'm quite efficient at it, but at the start this is probably going to be quite tough for you. Okay. So I'm doing J's and CH's. Very good. And then I'll just do some glottal noises. And Irish people are bad at the THs, so I'm going to do a few TH exercises. That, think, that, think, that, think, that, think. 333,000. An Irish person will do 333,000. So that's just a specific Irish exercise that I do. And then finally just go from the S to the Z and then the M to the N. And that's it, guys. And that's a full vocal warm-up. But not only that, it's a vocal warm-up, but it's also vocal training. And I don't think you need to do any more than that in a day. And there's voice teachers, I think, that their ego gets in the way and you think that they have to do like an hour warm-up or whatever for show, for film. No, it's bullshit. I think after that, it's just a waste of time. Yes, you can spend an hour on days experimenting. I mean, if you're a singer, you know, your voice is, you know, very integral to your career. But if you're an actor, obviously your voice is really important. It's like 1/3 of the craft, but it's not the end of the world. just think of it as a meditation, and don't get lost in this idea of, oh, I have a bad voice or whatever. Just do these simple exercises, and you'll see massive improvements in a couple of weeks. And don't spend too much time on it. If it's just something you want to improve on, obviously you're going to be a master of voice in some area, then you're going to need a lot more. But this is what I do, and it works for me. Okay, so I'll see you later. Thanks.